How's it going, everybody? I am Donuts. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off this channel. This is Iron Fist, Season 1, Episode 13, Dragon Plays with Fire, the finale. If you want to see it, you can get the whole full length for free. It's in the description below. I always make the finales available for everybody, the full length available for everybody, so you can check that out in the description. I gave my prediction in the discussion, the last thing, but I will sort of recap a small prediction going into the finale here, that as far as how our big bads are going to end up, I think Gao is going to sort of, just get away. Just get away. Nothing really bad is going to happen to Gao. I think Bakuto has to be killed, like fully decapitated, killed. I don't know who is going to be the one to decapitate Bakuto, because... or Bakuto, because Colleen is, on this where we shouldn't kill people thing now, and Danny's on that too, so I don't know, because we also have to have someone to decapitate Harold. I think both of them have to be decapitated. It's going to be the full-on, they're not just going to be killed or arrested or something, they're going to be full decapitated. Harold, Bakuto might get arrested somehow. I really hope that's not the case, especially because, arresting a member of the hand's not going to do anything, but, Harold, I think, has to die. Ward, I think, is going to survive throughout the rest of the season. I think Joey is going to survive throughout the rest of the season. Danny, obviously. And Davos, maybe that's the last we're going to see of him. That's all of my predictions. Let's jump into this. As I just said, if you want to see the full length, check it below. There's no syncing up required. It's already picture-in-picture. Just, yeah, go check it out. Alright, we're here for Iron Fist, the finale, the discussion. Let's get it out of the way, as is the case with every one of the Netflix shows except for Jessica Jones so far, of having just a very disappointing finale.
Yeah, they don't know how to do it.
They don't know how to do it. But, again, we're talking about the season overall as well. But yeah, this finale, disappointing as always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Jessica Jones is the only one where I was very satisfied with the ending, and it was only the very, very ending with the phone call stuff. That was a little bit confusing, but that was my only really issue with it. Whereas, how would you rank the disappointingness, now that we've gotten to all of them except for Punisher, how would you rank the disappointingness of Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist? Just their ending. I think, again, all the rest of the season is fantastic. It's always just the last episode that they flub.
Yeah. Honestly, I might rank it at Iron Fist, then Luke Cage, then Daredevil.
In terms of most disappointing, or?
Yeah, most least.
Okay, I think I would actually go the other way.
Okay.
Or actually no, I think I would do, in terms of most disappointing, would be Daredevil Season 1, then Iron Fist, then Luke Cage, I think.
Okay.
As the most disappointing, as the least disappointing to me. Namely because, I think Iron Fist has a lot more that's disappointing just because they don't touch on it, for anything. Whereas Daredevil's was a big disappointment of just, I talk about it so much, I really don't like the way they took Fist's character.
It's such a weird shift. It's been a while since I've seen it, to be fair, so I may have just forgotten how...
Whereas I'm still hung up on that. Because I wanted to love Fisk so much, but it's made him kind of uninteresting in the series now.
Yeah.
It's just, So, so I put this somewhere in the middle there.
Okay.
There is a lot more to it that was disappointing, but not on the level that Fisk was to me. Overall, though, I do think that the season overall was very good, and I really like this, just series as one of the series that we're getting for the Defenders. I'm very worried at what the Defenders is going to be now.
Right.
Because there's, no tie-in for it at all.
Yeah.
We're just, I have zero idea what it's going to be. I now have zero faith that it's going to be the Hand. It might, but, I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, it feels weird that we ended the season in China.
Yeah.
Either Danny's going to be in China at the start, or he's just going to fly back
He's
and go,
hey,
back? I was over in China.
That's also why I think this is extremely disappointing to me. It's because we got that Kunlun thing, the Kunlun cliffhanger thing. We didn't really need it because I know exactly what's going to happen. If we have the Defenders, he's got to walk all the way back and then do a whole thing before he even does anything about that. So it's going to feel real weird that this is he shouldn't have learned about this yet, I think. And also, him going back to Kunlun kind of negates the whole point of being Danny Rand, the Iron Fist, and working in the Rand and everything like that. it kind of negates a lot of the stuff that we've been doing for the whole series.
Yeah, like his vibe has been like, I am Danny Rand, I am the Iron Fist. I'm going to find a new way to do both of those things.
Mhm.
So it felt like a weird regression for him to say, I'm going to go back to Kunlun and finish my training properly. And like I do think going to the Thunderer and saying like, hey, we left off in bad terms. I'm going to try and do something about that. That was cool. But the specific going back to Kunlun felt weird.
Yeah, and like even if he went back there for a brief minute or something to say something, but going back for the first training would, I assume, mean that he's going to be there for another 15 years, because how long is this going to be open?
Yeah.
Like assuming that none of the stuff happened, like how long would the gate have been open, or the path would have been open? I mean,
Yeah.
and yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. The path to Kunlun and
Yeah.
Kunlun and all that. Let's just talk about Kunlun. So your interpretation of it, like you were trying to be like, oh no, I think you misinterpreted that one, and my reaction, but no, I think you misinterpreted that.
Yeah, I took the clear shot of Kunlun having been like scooped out of the landscape as like the way is closed.
Yeah.
As in like the way is literally a like it is only physically there when the way is open.
But no, I think it is. They were trying to imply that the blizzard is the path.
Okay.
Like that is well, there's always a path to Kunlun, but the path being closed it's the closing is the blizzard.
Yeah.
That is a sort of supernatural sort of thing of the more like a mythic sort of thing, where when you walk into it, you will never walk out the other side. You will only walk back out the way you came, or just get lost in there forever, maybe. And like being lost in there forever maybe might be something to do with his mom, Danny's mom. I think there's still something going on there. I still am holding on to my thing if she's still alive and out there somewhere.
I'm still thinking that was a red herring.
Which was?
Like the fact that she was sucked out.
Okay, you think that was the red herring, and like...
Yeah, I think that him bringing it up was supposed to be the, hey guys, if you thought this was happening, yeah, I also thought that, but, I'm saying, like, I'm not saying it's not the case, it's just, there's no confirmation yet.
Yeah. And yeah, I think, I don't know, I'm still holding out hope. I'm gonna say that she's still alive out there.
Yeah.
I think there's way too many stuff we don't know about his mom for her to have died like that.
Yeah,
like of course we could get more information just in backstory and everything, but in all honesty, Wendell we know plenty of, and Wendell's just kind of uninteresting. Like Wendell is this like figurehead that Danny talks about a lot, whereas his mom is the one where he was closer to in a familial sense.
Yeah, like Wendell, I think, has had a posthumous arc. Like, we know what he was like. We know that he knew about the heroin thing, and he was going to, like, or, at the very least, he was going to, like, check in on this and figure out what was up.
He has big, like, stepdad energy.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yeah, he's a good dude. He's not gonna, like, do much. He like, Harold preactively did something in case he was gonna do something, but, like, it seems like he's just that kind of guy who's like this ain't right, guys. We shouldn't be doing this. Like, he's the kind of very passive good guy.
Yeah.
And I think, like, yeah, it's something very easy to wrap your head around, where his mom is like, if Gao says that everything she said is the truth,
right,
then that means that Danny's mom was willing to work with the hand and all that.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah. So, what's going on there? Also, like, Harold saying that he was gonna kill Wendell before he did anything or found out about it, really, but like Wendell had already found out about it by that point, assumingly, like based on what Gao had said. I definitely trust Gao over Harold, so
yeah.
I wonder how much of what Harold said was true. Like, obviously, yeah, he did crash the plane and poison it and all that, but how much of the stuff he said about Danny's parents was true? That might all be a lie as well.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like. I guess I'll ask, do you think we're done with Harold? Do you think that killed him? Like the cremation?
I think it did.
Okay. Because Nobu was also burned.
Yeah.
That's the only thing where it's like, I believe that yes, that's the implication, but at the same time I go, this is a pretty shitty implication, because one of the only other people we've seen do this was through fire.
Like, if there's one person I trust and respect at this point, to a level, it is Ward. Like,
yeah, surprisingly.
Like, I do think, like, Ward is the kind of person who would, after the cremation, go back out, check the ashes, go through them.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Whereas like if it was just Danny, I'd be like, I don't think Danny checked. He might still be alive.
Mhm. Yeah, we still got Bakudo out there. Bakudo.
Yeah.
Uh, we still got Gao out there. Like, okay, in terms of like people that are still we haven't really wrapped up in any way, we have Joy and Davos are
boy.
season 2.
Joy and Davos as a duo is, I would never in a million years have expected this.
Again, I was already on the like, I'm not really into Joy's character. Joy's character is poo-poo, and you kept being like, I think they're gonna do interesting things with it.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna make her into the innocent character. I'm glad they didn't, but I still think it didn't really go in an interesting direction. You were just saying they weren't going to make her into the innocent person. Like, she was
Yeah.
going to be a villain by the end. And to be fair, it does seem like she is, like I was hoping, she is like a worse villain than even Harold or Ward or
Yeah.
any of them, because even though like we don't know what she's going to do yet or anything like that, her reasoning for doing all this is way more fucked up than
Yeah.
Harold's reasons or Ward's reasons or whatever. Like, it is solely just like Dallas coming here like, hey, since Danny got here, hasn't your life been messed up? And Joy going, yeah, I'll kill him.
The only thing I don't like about it is the fact that it is Davos going to her and saying like
Yeah.
all this stuff. Like,
I mean, I'm not a fan of it being Joy anyway. Like,
Yeah.
I said I was hoping they were going to go there. I don't think this is the best way to do it.
Mhm.
I don't think this is very interesting, but I am glad that we went that direction instead of the innocent direction.
Yeah, like, and it is going to be a new season. Like, the execution might be really, really good. So I'm willing to give
Maybe.
them some leeway.
Yeah. What were you going to say about Davos, though?
That I like. It feels weird that this is where Davos went as a character. Like, specifically the fact that
Yeah.
he called up Joy, presumably, and was like, okay, Joy, I want to destroy the Iron Fist because Danny can't be trusted.
Mhm.
And I need your help. I'm not going back to the monastery. I'm not going to, some other faction or something. I'm going to you, Joy
Yeah.
Meacham.
Like, yeah, why the fuck would he go to Joy? He has seen Joy, like, once in his
Yeah.
entire life, and that was, like, yeah, very brief, and she was totally against all of this.
Yeah.
So, like, why does she think that she would want to kill Danny? Like, it's so weird. Why does he think this would work?
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, I didn't want Davos to be a villain. Davos was one of the only, like, logical people in this, but he had, like, the same thing of Danny, where it's like, they're both having these very logical reactions to things, but then they also have this extreme stubbornness to them about one thing specifically. Whereas, like, Davos is like he's always doing the right thing for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So I really appreciated that, but now this is just like, I always, throughout all my reactions, I kept saying, like, oh man, what's Davos gonna do? Like, it definitely felt like Davos was gonna do something, but I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting him to be an asshole or fuck over something or
Right.
be a villain in some way, but not like this kind of villain. This
Yeah.
is too over the top for what he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh, but back on what we were talking about. So Joy and Davos are going to be for season 2.
Mhm.
Don't think about that. Bakudo could honestly show up in fucking
Defenders?
Defenders potentially.
Yeah.
Like, I could see some minor villains showing up in Defenders as they each get a one-on-one fight sort of thing of someone they already had fought or
Yeah.
something like that. Possibility. How much possibility? Probably pretty low, but there is a possibility there. Again, Gao might be the main villain of Defenders because she's the only one who's
Yeah.
been in most of the series.
She's the only one I can think of who makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, they could also just do an original villain, but I'd be very surprised if Gao didn't show up at the very least.
So that's like the weird thing is Jessica and Luke are very, very disconnected from the hand.
Yeah.
Anyway, they don't have any connections to really anything kind of going on. They've had very personal villains. So they're kind of not really like we have Hogarth as the connections there with
Yeah.
Jessica, but like what's the connection with Luke? I guess just Claire.
Yeah.
Like Claire's just going to get Luke in, and I guess Claire's going to be using those claw things.
I guess so.
Yeah. Those are the ones that she got from the Anjo, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's gonna be her thing. Is that her thing in the comics? The Night
no.
Claire or the Night Claire, Night Nurse?
Night Nurse. No, claws aren't really a thing.
Okay, well I guess it is now.
I guess so.
Guess it is now.
Mhm.
I guess let's just talk about this finale before we're like going into like the overarching stuff and everything.
Sure.
I don't really know if I have much to say about the finale. Like, my finale, my whole reaction was there, so people got my opinions on most of this sort of stuff. I'll let you, if you want to say anything about this finale, start, and then I'll bounce off of you.
I was really surprised at the role Gal plays in this finale. Like both, what she says to Danny, and then the fact that Danny like flashes back to her, when he's like getting ready to try and kill Harold.
Yeah.
Like she is the guiding light in this episode. Like she is
Yeah.
like clearly she is trying to corrupt Danny to some level, but she is also like the one casting herself as the truth, as the one saying like I've never lied to you. I want what is best for you.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not a relationship.
1 second. I'm gonna move this mic.
Sure.
Okay.
It's not a relationship I really expected her to have with Danny. Like, I'm curious to see what her end game is. Like, this could all just be I just wanted to sit in this room and have the Iron Fist come to me, but I'm curious as to what
I mean, I don't think she can get out of the room unless the people come to get her. Like, as they said, like, better hope your minions come to get here before you starve to death. And it's like, yep, they probably will.
I mean, they also said that she could have just blasted her way out.
They did say that, but then they also say the minions thing, so...
Yeah.
I don't know what to blast. Maybe she could have blasted her way out, but also, why does Danny... Like, I guess Danny felt it so he would know how strong it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if she would be able to blast the bars out, she would have been able to blast Danny's ribs out of his back, so... It doesn't seem like it's that strong. Like, it's good against people, but against metal?
Fair. Yeah, it's no Iron Fist, at the very least.
But yeah, I think Gal is turning into a very, like that shonen trope of the, getting stronger through a villain. And not necessarily like the villain is purposely getting them stronger. It is just that, like, the villain is, like, in the Gal sense, it's very different from that shonen trope, and usually it's because they want to use them.
Right.
Well, like Bakudo. But, like, in this, Gal is just, like, truthfully talking to Danny and just trying to get Danny out of her hair.
Yeah.
Like, it is just like, I'm trying to help you, because if you realize who you are, then you'll stay out of my fucking hair, so...
Yeah. It's an interesting relationship. Like, Bakudo does want to use the Iron Fist. He is obsessed with the Iron Fist, whereas Gao just wants to, coexist.
I mean, not really, because she is very heavy on the, you're not the Iron Fist, you're Danny Rand. Stop trying to be the Iron Fist, you're Danny Rand.
True. Yeah, when I say coexist, I guess I mean more of a, like, I want you to
like,
live
as
your life
people
separately.
coexist, yeah. Not like the Iron Fist and the Hand coexist, but she wants Danny Rand and Gao to coexist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I really like that as a fascinating, like, dynamic of she doesn't want to fight him, she just wants him to give it up, just stop.
Yeah.
And then she makes a lot of, like, points that a lot of people would take.
Yeah.
But Danny is not that kind of person.
I also think she's an interesting contrast to, like, Claire right now. Like, as Claire's the, like, you absolutely should not kill, Danny Rand should not, kill anyone. Whereas Gao, like, you shouldn't kill anyone also because it won't, like, give you peace. Whereas Gao's thing is, I don't want you to be the Iron Fist, but I do think if you kill, you will obtain peace.
Yeah. Which is absolutely, like, true. I mean, that's 100%, like, it's the kind of shit I hate in media of, like, people who don't have anything in their life as strong as these characters do, acting like they wouldn't come to peace if they killed these people that were bringing them that harm. Like, I mean, I think it is a good example of, like, was it last episode that said that, or maybe it was this episode where Colleen says, like, no, I think it was this episode where Colleen says, I'm glad that Bakudo was killed, but I'm glad that I wasn't the one who did it. Which is such a bullshit statement. It means nothing.
Yeah.
Like, what, that means nothing. So you are glad that he is dead. Why would you be sad that you killed him? Like, it's this arbitrary thing that a lot of these, that the media has, of, like, you kill someone once and then you are evil.
Yeah, like you've been stained permanently and there's no going back.
Which is, like, a real, like, every soldier is evil sort of thing. It's a real weird, like, a lot of these things have a very, like, pro-military and you kill your evil message. So weird, so bizarre.
Yeah, but I really hate that sentiment, which is also kind of Claire's sentiment. It's also the sentiment that Danny seems to be getting into a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it is the, like, he was right at the edge of killing Harold, but he couldn't really kill Harold, but Ward killed him, and everyone is happy that Ward killed Harold, because it's not Danny killing Harold.
Like, yeah, if these characters were spiritual in any way, or religious in any way, or had anything like that in any way whatsoever, but, like, they never have a reason.
Yeah.
Like, Matt has a reason. I get it. Matt has a reason. Nobody else has a reason.
Yeah.
So stupid. Especially when Colleen was very, very willing to before, and then the only thing that's changed is nothing. Like,
Yeah.
nothing really changed in terms of the killing thing. She just found out that they were evil, and now she doesn't want to kill them. Ugh, it's ridiculous. So
It's a bizarre moral move. Like,
It
a lot
is.
of series unstatedly do that. Like, the classic, the hero is 5 seconds away from killing the villain, and then the villain's sidekick kills them, or someone else kills them, or, like, a rock falls and kills them.
Yeah.
Like, that's a ancient trope, but it's supposed to be an unstated thing. It is the, like, we as an audience are happy that the hero didn't have to get his hands dirty. It feels really weird when people take that as their, like, stated moral initiative, when they are like, yes, I am on the side of death, but not when I kill, only when someone else kills.
It's so much more fucked up, because then like it is way more fucked up that Colleen would be happy that Davos did it rather than herself did it.
Yeah.
Because she is happy that someone else would be like carrying this arbitrary burden that she is pretending is there, like instead of her. Like, it is extremely fucked up. So I am very glad that in the final fight and everything, Ward got to kill Harold, and then we see Ward being much happier and getting a peace through it and everything. Like, yeah, killing gave him peace because Harold was ruining his entire life. It's the kind of thing too of like why don't we just put them in jail or anything like that? But then it's like any victim when they've had like their like rapist or their like someone who killed somebody in their family or various huge terrifying things like stuff like that Harold has done. Harold is a huge villain.
Oh yeah.
Like arresting them doesn't give that person peace ever.
Yeah.
It never does. Especially when they're just gonna get out later.
Yeah, I mean, Harold is immortal. There's no point in putting him in prison.
Yeah.
Any sentence is not a life sentence. He's immortal.
And so, like, yeah, I'm fully against prison in every way whatsoever anyway. So, yeah, it's fine. I'm glad that Ward got to get his kill and get his peace. And I liked the final fight. It was pretty cool. It's like a storming Rand building and everything like that. But do you have anything specific to say about the fight? Like, I want to talk about Ward, so before we do that, do you have anything specific to say about, like, the fight itself?
Well, there is one thing I've wanted to say ever since I found it out, like, a few episodes into Iron Fist.
Okay.
Which is that, when it came to the choreography, I forgot his name, Finn Jones, the guy who plays Danny Rand.
Oh, okay.
He has said that he was only ever given the choreography 15 minutes before he had to do it.
Jesus Christ, I can see why it looks so shit then.
Yeah, like he's also not like a trained martial artist or anything, but like, and not just like the fighting, but also like whenever he does like, you know, a kata or anything.
Yeah.
Like all of that was because like the filming schedule was so packed, he never had any time to do any of it. It was always, we're going to run you through it a few times and then we're just going to shoot it, and that is the take that we're going to take.
I assume they were doing the same sort of thing with Colleen, which is crazy because they're using like doll swords. Like they're using real swords in those fights. Like they're of course dolls and everything. Yeah. But they're still real swords, and to get that choreography 15 minutes before is crazy nuts.
Yeah.
Danny, like I've always said that the sword fights look the lamest in this because they're going really really slow with it. But Danny is extremely impressive for only having 15 minutes. I take it back. Damn, man. Especially that the fight in the Herald building, like in the hallway there. That fight was all really, really well done. And the fact they only had like 15 minutes to practice that was really, I mean, probably didn't even get to practice it. It was probably just like, here's what you're going to do. Okay, go do it. Jesus.
But yeah, like, that does recontextualize a lot of the fights. Like, I still think markedly all the fights in Iron Fist are a step below, like, most of the other series. But knowing the constraint they're in...
I guarantee you, this series is the kind of series where in the script it just says, fight. Like, where it just says, Colleen and Bakudo fight. Or Danny and, Bakudo fight. And then when they get to that set, they go like, okay, yeah, we'll do this, and then you do this.
Yeah, like the choreographers would come up with the fight, and then Danny's actor would have like 15 minutes, or Colleen's actor would have 15 minutes. And that is also why his fighting style is more slow. It's why the sword fights are all like, it's why
tapping them with the, like, just like tappy tappy.
Yeah, or in some fights you get the clear, like, okay, you are waiting for me to make my move, and then you will respond with your move. It's because, like, there's some that, that do feel pretty natural, but then there's some where it's clearly like, they just learned how to do this.
Yeah. I get extreme comments on what's his actor's name?
Finn Jones.
Finn Jones. Really good for having such a short amount of time. Holy shit. Everything I said still stands of how the series looks, but knowing that now does recontextualize it entirely. Wow. Wow.
But yeah, I really appreciate it for not being the traditional like storming the building sort of fights.
Yeah.
Like it is more stealthy. Danny does like cut right to the final boss.
Yeah. Oh, the swinging in, such a like fucking GTO move. Like
Yeah.
it was so over the top. So I was really not expecting that.
And I appreciate the whole aesthetic of where we have this planned out. Okay, we can't do it because there's so many armed guards, but now Ward is hurt and Danny has this rage inside of him. So it's like, well, we're doing it anyway. Like I always love seeing a plan that was designed for one purpose and now it's being used in a totally different context.
Yeah. Also, I can't believe that he didn't get both fists in this
Yeah.
episode. I fully thought we were going to do that, but I guess we're saving that for a season 2 thing, or I would have wanted that in Defenders, because, like, yeah, the idea of, like, seeing that glow in the distance as they, like, bust in somewhere is such a, like, every time Danny is in a situation and then you see the glow start to happen, it's so hype. I feel like we haven't had enough of the, like, Danny having a fight as the Iron Fist, like getting to use it the whole time and stuff. You know, it's always been like a one blow sort of thing. And so I really want to get a fight in Defenders with, you know, I thought we were going to, but now I'm not so sure if we're going to get one where he's able to use the Iron Fist for, you know, more than one punch.
Yeah. I think he's going to get a upgrade, but I think it's going to be a upgrade. Like it's either going to be he gets a second fist or he'll be able to use one fist for an extended period of time.
Maybe. Where's he going to learn it from? Like, there's no training.
True. I mean, we do know there are, like, you know, settlements where people, you know, like stuff
True.
like the hand settlements.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll find another one, or maybe, like, they'll rescue some people from the hands, and that'll be how he, like, gets a new master or something.
Yeah. I feel like the first episode of season 2 is going to be a lot of, like, time skip. Here's a bunch of shit that happened. Here's like a montage, like watch a Rand commercial and see all the shit they did.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, I kind of would have liked to seen Danny planning some of that stuff, because it's gonna kind of feel like, that might have just been all Ward's idea then.
Right.
Like, you know, I don't know how much I trust Ward to do a lot of the community sort of stuff, but
Yeah. Like,
if they don't say that Danny did it, then I'm not gonna believe that Danny did it.
yeah, because I like the setup we're going for of Ward is going to be the one, like, actually in the building doing all the business stuff, like, you know, like, he'll be full-time.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to, like, Foggy and Matt, where it was, we're equal partners, we're supposed to both be doing all of this stuff, but Matt's never around. Like, the fact that Ward knows means I think he can set this up in a way where he's going to take most of the, like, day-to-day stuff, and Danny has time to run out to go fight the hand and whatnot.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I would have liked the idea, like, just them saying, like, all right, yeah, so let's get that antidote out on the market, or, you know, like, even if it was out in the market, or,
Sure.
I would have liked to have that, as, like, tie it back to the beginning of Danny and Ward arguing back over, like, Ward saying, like, all right, so let's get started, let's get the antidote out in the market, and Danny like, no, we're gonna do it for free.
Right.
And then, like, having an argument over that.
I'm legitimately stunned that we didn't have, like, a whole Rand-focused epilogue thing.
Yeah.
Like, I thought we would do the, like, hey, let's see where those pills are at. Let's see, you know, like, if they are doing the heroin cure, let's see, you know, what they did with that one plant.
Yeah, or, like, Hogarth's whole thing of how is she gonna get Danny off of this and that. We just kind of don't see any of that. And yeah. There's other stuff that we should just bring up in terms of, like, just stuff that is out in the ether that hasn't really been answered yet.
Yeah, I also want to say, this is a 53-minute episode, which is not the longest episode of Iron Fist. Like, like they could have packed in a little more. Like, usually the finale's a bit longer.
Yeah, they really could have, but... So, in terms of things that are still around that have not really mattered or had a resolution or, you know, like why it was a thing, Danny's key card from his dad still... nothing's come up with that. He's just entered the building multiple times, somehow. We don't know how, ever.
We can imply it's the key card, but we never, like, they never brought it up as a thing.
I mean, like, to be fair, this time we do see how, but we don't really know how he got up to those floors of the key card.
Yeah.
But I guess you don't only need a key card into the building, to be fair. You just need it for the elevator. We also have Gal's military faction.
Right.
Like, what the fuck was that? Was that the DEA? Did Gal just call the DEA on them, and then it had no that clearly couldn't have been the DEA. Like, or else there would have been consequences for that. So why did Gal just have a bunch of military men?
Yeah, like narratively, I'm certain it was to set up the twist of, oh no, that was actually the DEA this time, but...
It doesn't answer anything, though.
Yeah. And I mean, we've had the overarching thread of Gao doesn't have any ninja. Every time she calls in a faction to help her out, it's always not any of the hand factions we've seen thus far.
Yeah, like, it's always like contractors, mercenaries, basically.
Yeah, like they're never the Hand even.
Yeah. Like they work with the Hand. They can be called upon by the Hand.
Yeah.
But they're like, you wouldn't call Harold the Hand. You would say Harold is working with the Hand, just like they are working with the Hand, but they aren't the Hand. So like, what's up with Gal's minions? Where are they?
Yeah.
What, does she have minions at all? It seems like no. Colleen's students, like, are they going to do anything about that? They know where the vast majority of them work.
Yeah, and we've set up the whole, like, her students are all in positions of power. Like, you know, the Hand put them into places where they could help the Hand in big ways, or, you know, big ways, small ways.
Yeah.
They definitely need to dismantle that.
Absolutely, and it could give them clues as to where Bakuto is and all that.
Yeah.
Where do you think Bakuto is? Where do you think Bakuto and the students are? Like, I say some of the students probably don't have jobs, so, you know, the ones on campus. Where do you think everybody on campus went?
I think they have to have, like, multiple training facilities, and I assume the ones in the one we saw have all moved to another one.
Okay, just that simple.
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't think it's going to be anything too big or crazy.
Again, I would have liked to, and still would like, in Season 2, to get something like they turned that compound into something.
Yeah.
You know, if we now just have a free compound that's like the size of an entire campus we can use.
That's a lot of place for people to live.
It's a lot of place for people to live. It's a walkable community. It's a whole environment. It's great. It's fantastic. Use it for good, not the Hand. Don't make it Kunlun 2. Good God, don't make it Kunlun 2. So, let's talk about Ward.
Oh, yeah. Boy, I was not expecting Ward to have my favorite arc in the series, I think.
Yeah, I think Ward is my favorite character in this in the series as well, even more so than Danny.
Yeah.
Like, I love Danny, but Ward is fascinating. And, like, again, I was saying, like, they're not going to be able to redeem him. There's nothing they could possibly do that would redeem him and everything. But I think him... Like, it was the natural progression of it. It was that, like, you know, he has his whole shitty side, but then once he starts becoming good, it is for Joy, then for Danny.
Yeah.
Like, it is not a, you know what, no, Danny was right and I need to save Danny. And it wasn't even a, I'm just doing this for Joy, I'm not doing this for Danny. Like, there was a slow progression there.
Yeah.
As he slowly realized and, like, now has come to terms with Danny being good for the company as well and everything. Like, you know, they have the joke about, like, being a bad businessman and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I thought that, like, at that joke, I was like, you know, I took that joke a little bit too more seriously, but it's like, you know, that is like a joke. Danny is still on, like, he's like right next to War with the company thing. I thought with that they were implying that Danny wasn't going to be in the company.
Right.
Like, I thought Danny was saying, like, no, I don't want to be, I'm going to go back to Kunlun. And I was like, come on, Danny. But no, it was just, yeah.
Yeah, like, I definitely think he's staying on as, like, the heart of the company.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, he's still, like, what he was before. Of, like, I don't have any hours, I'm just here as the people like me.
Yeah, I just have all the shares.
Really quick tangent. Harold coming in and going up to Megan and just being like, I remember what he said, just like, hey, and then leaving her just being like, what?
Oh my God.
Like, there's a lot of stuff that I really wish we got. We didn't like, get, like, anybody reacting to Harold. What does the public think about Harold?
Yeah.
It's like, the public, like, did they keep that under wraps? Or, like, what? Like, some people know.
Like, I really like the aesthetic of Harold not caring at all and just going in, just being like, yeah, I'm here to deal with it. But we didn't really get any fallout from it.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's perfectly in character, and I do think, like, no one would kick up a fuss immediately because it's so what the hell?
And it's like, his whole thing is like, yeah, I just sell them something about, like, I took some vitamins and I'm better now. And it's like, you don't think there are gonna be questions of, like, why didn't you care that we were saying you were dead for, like, years?
It's been over a decade.
It's been so long, Harold. What do you mean, vitamins? In terms of things that having the tank. What was the tank? What was the tank?
Boy. We don't even have an implication for that one.
No. What was the tank? But yeah, Ward, like, just going into a, like, I think what's good is they don't try to make him out to be a genuinely good person anymore.
Yeah.
Like, he is on the up and up, but I think that's what, like, he is on the up and up. He ain't a good person, and, you know, he's just looking out for people now instead of himself.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I could really ask for.
Yeah, and like they set him up from the start as being a fairly selfish person, and I do like that. Like he is still rooted in something that is for himself. Like he wants to kill Harold for himself and for Joy, for Danny, but it is still a fundamental like I want this. When he's with the company now that he's running it with Danny, he's still running the company. It's still good for him.
Yeah.
Like if he became a truly selfless person, I wouldn't buy it. I'd feel like this doesn't make any sense. This isn't in character.
Yeah.
But I totally buy the position he's in.
And it makes me excited for him in the future too, because
Yeah.
there is still so much room for him to grow that like I'm not like, well, they kind of blew the load already. What's he gonna do? They're probably gonna do he's gonna regress and become worse again. Like that's the classic thing.
Yeah.
Of, like in season 1 they get their character arc, become better, and then they don't know what to do with them. So in season 2 they're a villain now. But yeah, so I don't expect that from Ward, and
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be in a more Hogarth-ish position, in that like he'll be an ally, he'll be a supporter, but he'll have less focus. Like I think we'll still get some good Ward, but I don't think he'll be like, he might not even have his own plot line in season 2.
I'm excited to see how he acts now, because he is more of a smiley guy now, more of a Hogarth has that very like big smile, big bitchy sarcastic like
Yeah.
energy, like very much so, like almost and nothing she says is ever not sarcastic. Whereas like Ward is just a like he's always got the like very frowny like I just am going to tell you I don't like you to your face and you're dumb. Whereas now he is a little bit more cheerful, a little more upbeat.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that's going to play into the dynamics of everybody, and what's going to be Joy's thing. Like, is she going to still be in the company and just being like doing evil stuff in the background, or what's going on? And in terms of Ward's redemption arc, I didn't think there was going to be anything that was going to make me feel like he had gone through enough to really satisfy like the kind of terrible shit that he did. But at the end of the day, you know what? I think it's worth it. I think after everything, like after the physical abuse from his father, after the emotional abuse from his father, after the stuff like I mean, there's emotional abuse, and then there is a heightened level of emotional abuse of being forced to hide bodies for your father, and then everything like that. Like,
and I really appreciate how like, even up to the end, everyone puts him through the ringer. Like Joy keeps on hitting him with the big, you're saying that our father abused you and he made you do all this horrible stuff. You did all this horrible stuff. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, and I think what really, really finally sold it for me was Ward in the hospital room with Joy, where he's like, I'm not leaving. I'm not going to leave until you believe me. You're being so stubborn right now, and I'm the kind of person who's constantly like, oh, this is so hard. Fuck it, I'm leaving. This is your fault. But like, he is trying so hard to like break through his patience, and like, like I would not have been able to do what he did in that scene. Like, I would have left him like, well, fuck you. If you're just gonna act like this towards me, then
right. It's
and all like the physical pain that he's gone through throughout the entire seasons as well. The fact that again, like the physical abuse that he must have faced as a child, on top of the physical abuse we've seen him face towards Harold in this series, it was just like beating him or just beating him with the golf club in this one. Like, there is so much, and yeah, it's not just the emotional abuse from Harold; it's the emotional abuse from Joy and from everybody.
Yeah, like it really hit me when Danny was talking to him, and like Danny's like, I'm going to kill your dad, and Ward's like, listen, I've been through so much. He's abused me for years and years and years. He's abused you for a little bit right now. Like, I want him dead more than you. And then Danny gets madder, and then he says, well, screw you, I'm going to go kill your dad. And he leaves as if that was the fight they were having.
Yeah.
And like, Ward through that whole thing is very naturalistic. Like, he feels bad for Danny, but it's not a over the top bad. It is a like, man, it sucks.
Yeah, I love the series. He's like, my Harold killed my parents. He's like, oh shit, that sucks.
Yeah,
it's so real.
Yeah,
like, it's the kind of thing where I feel like I would react to that situation where it's like, if somebody just dropped that at me, I'd be like, oh shit, that sucks.
oh yeah,
I don't know how to react to that.
Sorry to hear that.
Fuck, man. But it's also like for him, it's like a double like, yeah, sorry, that sucks. Also, I've gone through worse, and I want to kill him. Like, what are you trying to convince me of? Like, yeah, I'm already on your side.
Yeah. Well, fuck you, Ward.
Yeah, it's like a very like, how do you want me to react to this?
it's an interesting position in that he's not like the butt monkey. It's not like he's constantly being dunked on for things that aren't even in his control.
Yeah.
But like his character is defined by everyone dunking on him and never being good enough.
Yeah.
I find that really interesting in the way he is played.
Yeah, and I do love seeing that he has to go to such extreme lengths to get any of these characters to do anything, because from the beginning of the series he's been trying to be like, Harold's not your father. Joy, don't look into it. It's just, God damn it, let me just deal with this and be in pain by myself. Like, he is like the hair shirt, kind of like, I just want to suffer by myself. I'm doing all this so you guys don't have to suffer. Not like towards Danny, but just towards Joy.
Yeah.
But like, Danny was still as much as he hated Danny and was trying to get Danny killed, he was still doing I'm trying to get you killed, and I'm still saying, don't get involved with Harold. Stay out of this.
Yeah. Incredible character.
Yeah. Oh, and the fact that he went through like worse heroin withdrawal than anybody that that nurse had ever seen.
Yeah.
Like that it was a markedly worse than normal sort of thing. It's like, I think that as well, like, adds to it. There's so much compound. Like, there's not like one big thing that they usually do to have like a redemption arc. Ward just has so much small stuff throughout the series that I think it is worth it. And, there's so many times of him trying to get better. He did try to leave the company and he was using the pension fund money with it and everything like that.
Oh,
but
where's the pension fund right now?
Where is that pension fund?
Because we do know, like, they stopped Bakuto from taking a lot of the funds, but he did drain a bunch of accounts before they halted it. There's like billions of dollars that are just still not in the company. Yeah. We didn't get a wrap for that.
Bakuto's got a lot of money to work with. Like,
yeah.
He ain't gonna be hiding in poverty.
I just really hope no one at Rand turns 65.
Yeah.
Those guys don't have the pension funds.
They killed like the oldest guy there. They killed the two oldest guys there, Harold and the black guy that they killed in one episode. Like, yeah, I think those were like the two oldest people we've seen here. They both got murdered, so I think we're okay.
Do you think Joy and Ward were still getting pension payouts from their dead dad?
Oh, I mean, it's gotta be, right? 100%. They have to.
How did you feel about, like, Harold emotionally during the final fights? Like, the way in which he kept on trying to tell Danny, listen, because of you, I've lost my family.
I mean, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Fully. Like, yeah, I really liked, like, Harold having this, like, everything. Like, he refuses to take any amount of responsibility for anything ever up until the final moments of his death is fully perfect. The fact that he does get to see Ward kill him as his last moments is absolutely perfect. I also love that it is like my weakness now, and like all this sort of stuff, and like none of that happened. Like, it wasn't like a Ward decapitated. It's like, no, Ward just shot him off a building.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, fair enough. Love it.
I was really worried that we would that we were going to see Ward like try and double tap or run down with a knife.
Them picking up the sticks and fighting with those sticks did truly feel like the ultimate, we're just choreographing this as we're here on the set. Like, pick up that and just start fighting with it.
Yeah. Man, the Rand security is very proactive. in that, it, like, when Colleen, when Claire blows up that like peanut stand.
Oh yeah.
It's not even like in front of the Rand building or anything. It's like a little away. It's like a block away.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, that peanut stand's on fire.
Chase that woman. That whole scene, wild. All they see is just a fire goes, and they just see Claire going like, whoa, 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 and they go, chase that one down and kill her. Like, what? Insane. Truly insane that they would rush over to this thing that's not even their property and like that. Like, these are evil dudes.
Yeah.
And the fact they would chase Claire,
and the fact that our protagonists knew this would happen. They planned it out. They're like, we know the security company, if we blow up a peanut stand, they're gonna run over from their positions and go beat up Claire.
No idea how Claire got out of that either. So, talking about the whole season overall.
Yeah.
Again, I really liked having a season that was mostly talking, not a lot of fighting. I really appreciated having something, focusing on more Asian cultures, since we haven't really got that much in the MCU. fucking Doctor Strange.
Can't believe Doctor Strange.
So yeah, I really like that, and I'm you know, the fact that we are hopefully in season 2 seemingly like it's going to be more about Kunlun and going to Kunlun, and even more so about those cultures. Like, yeah, I'm going to be very fascinated with that.
Yeah, we brought this up very early on, but now that the season is over, I can definitively say, like, I think Iron Fist did a much better job of we're going to do the trope of the white guy who goes to this, you know, other culture and becomes the best of the best there, because, you know, he doesn't even. He got an important role, but the second half of the season makes it very clear Danny is not the best of the best. He is the Iron Fist, but that is separate.
I think, yeah, like, he's fighting, like, alongside Davos, and, like, yeah, he can beat Davos, but Davos alongside a fight with him is basically the same, and when they were fighting, it was a pretty long fight. Like, being the Iron Fist does not mean that much. Danny is just a good martial artist, like they all are. And the Iron Fist is, like, way better, but he didn't unlock the real Iron Fist. So it's like he has this really half-assed version of it.
Yeah, like, he just wanted this role and this power. Like, the Iron Fist is a role more so than this ultimate power, this ultimate, you know, like, you know, being the living weapon.
Yeah. And, I assume, like, Thunder would probably still kick his absolute ass.
Yeah.
Like,
anyone who's gone through all of the training without the Iron Fist, I think, is probably better than Danny right now with the Iron Fist.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, like, again, we talked about that at the beginning of the season, but definitely in retrospect now, seeing the whole thing play out, yeah, I think this is much, much better, and just overall in terms of all of the ones I've seen that have done this constantly, there's so many of this trope, I think this is honestly the best one I've ever seen, because it's extremely respectful, and, like, yeah, there's just, there's plenty of characters who are Asian as well.
Yeah.
Like, that have a lot of importance, you know? It's not like, it's just Danny and, like, the side, like, it's not like Colleen is, like, you know, negated this, like, extreme sidekick role.
Right.
Like, she does have a hell of a lot of importance. So, yeah, I really am loving it for, like, treating this trope with, or not treating the trope with respect, but for having this trope being respectful with it. You know, there's a few hit and misses, but for the most part, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's just inherent in the thing.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like out of all the 3 Netflix series, this one has gone the least on its themes.
Sure.
Like all the other ones are going way harder on its themes, whereas this has gone pretty loose in its themes of, like, corporations rule the world now instead of governments, and like, what else would you say the theme? Like, I'd say that's the big theme in this is, like, corporations run the world now instead of governments, and also, like, that also being in terms of, like, the hand and you know, blah blah blah, stuff like that. But also in terms of, like, what is you? Like, what is your identity? Like, how do you perceive yourself? And what does it mean to be, like, what is your place?
Yeah.
Like, you know, is New York Danny's place? Is Kunlun Danny's place? Like, what is his world?
Yeah. It's still a theme, but I thought, like, early on, I thought they were going to go a lot harder on the, like, you know, what does it mean to be disadvantaged, and, like, what do you have to do? We get that a little with, like, Colleen's students, with the idea that the hand is recruiting people who have no other choice, and then, like, having them, you know, like, doing really good stuff for them, but ultimately they are also just using them.
Yeah, a lot brought up with, like, Gal saying that sort of stuff a lot, like, and Bakudo, you know, trying to use that for Danny as well. You're Archelaus too, Danny. You're a billionaire.
God, I can't believe in hindsight how much Danny just saying "I'm a billionaire" has stuck with me as a hard, like, I'm not disadvantaged. I'm a billionaire.
It's so clear, and he's never backed up. Thank God we didn't have a finale where Danny's like, you know, Bakudo was right. I am marginalized. But yeah, I think that is definitely a much stronger. I think that was probably the central theme, actually, of the, you know, marginalized people, and like, Danny being this, like, you know, Kunlun is not really marginalized people, but it still has this sort of feeling of, like, we gave you this, like, we gifted this to you, and then you are denying it. Like, we gifted you this protector role, and then you're not even protecting us.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to go with it, because it is the hard, like, this is a responsibility, and this is what you said you wanted this. We gave this to you, and now you're not holding up your end of the bargain.
Yeah. Like, that's why I can fully get where a lot of the Kunlun characters are coming from, and why I think Danny fully did owe them an explanation and an apology and all that. You know, he absolutely did. Like, he wanted this. He went out of his way to get this, and then he like goes, oh, no, I'm gonna use it this way. Like, it does
Yeah.
feel like he stole something.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, at the same time, now that he has it, it's not like he can get rid of it. Like,
Yeah.
he can't. Like, he still wants to be the Iron Fist at the end of the day. He wouldn't want to get rid of it anyway. He wants to just use it in a different way. But like, yeah, I think there's a very fascinating dynamic there.
Like, he wants to reclaim the Iron Fist, but it's tricky to try and reclaim something like that when other people do need it.
Yeah.
And I do think, well, like, either in the Defenders or in Iron Fist Season 2, probably in both, I feel like we'll explore that a bit more, with the idea that, you know, he wasn't there, he wasn't guarding the path, and up to this point, he was able to justify it as, you know, like, I'm going through something, I'm, you know, doing this for me.
Yeah.
But now we have the actual, like, yeah, if you were here, maybe this wouldn't have happened.
And it works both ways with Kunlun or Rand in terms of, like, he wasn't here at Rand, so he wasn't able to protect Rand or the people of New York and everything, like with the power plant. That hasn't come back up yet either. Yeah, like, there is this, like, Danny at Rand can be this protector of the marginalized people in New York, but, you know, if he's not here, if he's at Kunlun again, like, now it's like the opposite of, like, well, Danny, you wanted this position at Rand, and now you've left to go fuck off to Kunlun.
Like, I think having them be on opposite sides of the world is such a good way to make that division within Danny, like, more apparent throughout the world.
Yeah.
Like, he can, like, Skype in. Like, it's not that it's impossible, but it is this, like, physically, you know, you can always do more physically than you can, you know, like, via voice chat or whatever.
Yeah.
He has to physically choose to be in one place at one time. He can't get around that.
Yeah, cannot. So, yeah, I think that's an interesting dichotomy we got there. Like, an interesting theme. But I still think it's not as strong as the other three series have been on their themes.
Yeah. Like, it's no Luke Cage. Luke Cage screamed its themes as hard as possible.
Oh, yeah.
If you watch that series and you don't know what the series is trying to say, you are... I don't know what to say.
Luke Cage comes out of the screen and punches you in the face with its themes.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Jessica Jones as well just screams, like, you know, consent constantly. Like, it is a, you know, very, very apparent in its themes. Again, Matt is all about, like, every episode is 90% Matt talking about his deal.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think, and for a show that is mostly talking, there's not a whole lot of talk about the themes of the show.
Yeah.
There is, but not as much comparatively. And, you know, compared to plenty of other shows, a lot of theme there. But compared to the other MCU Netflix shows, not a lot.
Yeah. Like, a central thing I feel like with Iron Fist is just, this season was unbalanced in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah. I think that's, the great way to put it. Like, there is so much in this I love, and I'm going to be thinking about, like, you know, for forever. It sticks in my mind. There's also a lot that's just kind of disappointing. It didn't hit its mark, and was flubbed.
And that makes me really excited, because, like, in the same way that I came away from Luke Cage going, like, some of the stuff was really good, some of this was really strange.
Yeah.
Like, there's enough good there that I think if they refine it, Season 2 might be even better.
And yeah, I think the same thing of Luke Cage, where very beginning of the season, extremely, extremely strong. Second half of the season, not so much. Same thing with Iron Fist. I think once we got introduced to Bakuto, it became a little bit less, not, once we got introduced to him. Once we went to the compound, I think that episode was interesting, but the episode after that is when it started getting really slow. And I enjoyed the stuff from those last couple episodes, but I feel like they could have all been shortened and then given more for the last episode.
Yeah. Like, I like Colleen's arc. I like the general idea of one of our main characters, the love interest, you know, this extremely important person, is a member of the Hands.
Yeah.
And, like, we have to reckon with that, and she has to reckon with that. Like, I think that's a really cool thing. And, I mean, the stuff I don't like is mostly just the, you know, standing around going, like, how can you be part of the Hand? But I get why that's all there. It's not that it's not like they needed to have all of that. I can't think of a better way that they would, like, streamline any of it.
I think for, like, it was like 3 episodes of that, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, I think the penultimate episode should have ended with the plan to storm the Rand building. And then so we could have had the finale episode be that and then a finale, like an epilogue. So, Harold, as a villain, honestly, all over the place in a great way. Like, he is, like, once he dies and then comes back, his personality is just going through these changes constantly. How would you rank Harold amongst the other MCU Netflix villains?
I would say, the real tricky one is Cottonmouth versus Harold to me, because I would say Kingpin is below them, and Kilgrave is above them. Kilgrave is still my favorite.
I would agree with that as well.
Yeah.
Diamondback, I would put below them all.
Yeah.
I really like Diamondback. It's good. It's hard when everything is good.
Yeah.
Because like Diamondback is still good.
It's still good.
Actually, I think I would put Diamondback above Kingpin now.
Okay.
Like after everything we got with him in season 2 as well. Like just the more we're getting of Kingpin, the less interesting he is becoming to me. Whereas like even Kingpin with the disappointingness of the ending of season 1, I might have put higher. But just the more we see of him, the less interesting he becomes.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of like setup for him now. Whereas like Cottonmouth and Diamondback both burn very brightly for how little we get of them. Like you get about half a season each.
I'm hoping Vanessa I end up liking a hell of a lot. Like Fisk's wife, girlfriend. I don't know which one it was. But yeah. I'm hoping that in the next season of Daredevil she will be like a really big villain in that.
Yeah. I'd say I'm still going to put Cottonmouth above Harold. I really like Harold's, but...
Alright, give me your definitive list then.
Yeah,
to make it easy.
So it is Kilgrave, then Cottonmouth, then Harold, then Diamondback, then Kilgrave. Or no, not
Kingpin.
Kingpin.
You are putting Kingpin below Cottonmouth.
Yeah.
Or I mean below Diamondback.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's solid.
Yeah.
I'm just looking over what you just said, so I think mine's pretty similar. Kilgrave. Do I want? I truly, I don't know if Cottonmouth or Harold I like more.
It's tough.
It's really tough because Harold. I think I am gonna put Harold above Cottonmouth because he's got like Cottonmouth. We didn't get him throughout the whole season.
Yeah,
and that's what really like cuts him short. But Harold, I think, has like such a interesting arc throughout the whole thing of being like. I love monster characters as well. So
yeah,
I think it's got to be Kilgrave, Harold, Cottonmouth, Diamondback, Kingpin.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think we're missing anybody like on that level of bigness.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Like
you could say Gal, but then like
I'm holding off on Gal.
Yeah. Like I don't know where I like how to rank Gal because I think we still need one more thing from her.
I think the important thing is that all those were defeated in some way. They might have come back, but they were all defeated in some way. Whereas Gal has yet to be defeated in a way, so it's hard to really like talk about her like a villain that way.
Yeah. Like same with Bakuto.
Yeah. Like there's some people that are still out there, like Mariah and Shades. Like they're still out there, so who knows?
I think that's actually a really strong sentiment. I haven't really thought about that, but a villain is kind of cemented in their defeat.
Yeah, like especially when we're talking about like the main villain.
Yeah,
I think the main villain has to have a defeat.
Like that's why that's why I've always, for the MCU movies, I've always been sad that we almost never get recurring villains.
Yeah.
Because they have to always set up the villain and then do a bunch of stuff within like an hour to 2 hours to like 3 hours at the most and then defeat them. Mm-hmm. And that's not enough time to really build them up enough of them to see them fall.
Kill them is what you mean usually.
Yeah, like it is always the big kill.
Yeah.
Whereas like, yeah, if someone gets beaten but they're still around, then you have a little more to explore with them.
Yeah.
Like now you know what they're like when they're beaten.
Yeah. That said, like I am glad like Harold got killed here instead of beaten or anything like that. Like it really depends on like what you do. Like Cottonmouth getting killed, like it was a great character motivation thing for Mariah, but like it I think it cuts Cottonmouth's enjoyability short. Like he had a hell of a lot more we could have done with him, I think.
Yeah, there's a little more I like from him from his, from his death and Mariah, like, talking about him and, like, sobbing over him. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, like, there's still more he could have grown into.
Yeah. Like, I'm not against them doing it, but that's the kind of thing where it's like, I can see they could have done more with it. It's really like, you have to straddle that line of, like, all right, is it time to kill this character? Or, with the movies, it's really the more difficult thing, because it's a movie, you don't really have enough time ever to characterize much at all.
Whereas, like, someone like Kilgrave, for instance, like, you cannot finish that season of Jessica Jones without killing him. Yeah. Like, his death is unbelievably important. If they didn't kill him off, he would be less of a favorite to me.
Yeah.
Whereas that is the ultimate, like, the whole season is him. I get all of him now.
And, like, I don't think that killing a Kingpin would have made me like him any better. I think that would have made me hate him even more.
Right.
I think it's just, like, it's just the personality twist, like, I'm gonna kill the city now! Like, it really, like, I'm glad that that's not where Cottonmouth went.
Yeah.
Like, Cottonmouth never had I'm gonna punch the city to death now. Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
So, I think that's it for like the season overall. I was really hoping we were gonna get more with that homeless guy at the beginning and the bird. Like,
Yeah.
I thought there was gonna be more there. The answer is fine, but like, I don't know. I think that would have been. They could have done more with that as a thing. Like, yeah, the homeless problem in general really didn't do anything with.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff they brought up we didn't really do anything with.
Mhm.
But I at least glad they brought it up. Like the homeless
Yeah.
problem or the drug problem or many things like that.
You can do that in one season. They better tackle that stuff more in season 2 if they bring it up in season 2.
Absolutely better.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna call it now in season 1. If Danny ever gets the 2 fists,
You mean season 2?
yeah, season 2 or Defenders even.
Oh, okay.
When he gets the 2 fists, I think we'll do another like in the same way that in this episode we get the the shot of Xiao Lao.
Yeah.
And, he looks at the lights, then he sees the dragon's eyes, and we cut back. I feel like we're definitely gonna do that with his fists at some point.
Okay. I can see
Like
that.
whether it's him thinking about it or whether it's someone like seeing him in the shadows and they look at the fist and they're like, oh, it's a dragon.
Oh. Yeah, I of course they weren't going to show the dragon. Of course they weren't.
I would have never guessed the eyes thing though. I mean, it's a unique way to do it. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's not that unique.
Yeah.
All right, they only showed the eyes, and the eyes looked really bad.
Mhm.
That's yikes.
I mean, those were just MS Paint eyes on a black background.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Mhm.
But okay, we'll see you guys for the Defenders. Until then, get the fuck out of here.
Mhm.
And let me know how you felt about Iron Fist. Comment below how you
Yeah.
feel about the season. I'm curious.
Mhm.